Hey guys, Colbert here. Welcome to another Racial Legends video. Guys, this one will be an account takeover for the clan boss for Norlin. He sent me a message. He was asking for my help in beating the clan boss, basically doing an auto team that can do at least a 2-key unkillable or not for the clan boss. So we went into his account. We had a lot of stuff to work with, but I went for the unkillable route with Sir Nick because we were lucky enough to have a Sir Nick that had the A2 unbooked. So this means that it's a very easy way to make an unkillable setup, and we could actually do a 2-1 setup. So if you guys don't know what a 2-1 setup is, it's mostly right now used by everyone. The most known is the Bad Eater setup, where you can use it in almost all affinities. Not all affinities, all difficulties. So Ultra Nightmare, Nightmare, Brutal, and you can use it and basically do at least 1 or 2 keys, depending on what your setup is. So we went in there already and we did 1 key, but I'll show you what the team looks like, and then I'll show you the run and also explain the rotation with who does what skill and when. So this is the team that I use. Of course, I need Warcaster and Cyrenaic for this to work. The reason being, Warcaster right here needs to apply at least 1 turn of block damage so that Cyrenaic's 2-turn unkillable can have some time to get that cooldown going back again. So we also have a Draco here, which helps us a ton with the damage. And of course, we also have Battle Khazar, who definitely helps the whole team in getting that extra critical rate and extra damage from his unique skill, which is this one. Prey Upon gives a 20% increased damage to everyone to enemies under poison debuff. So definitely a very, very good thing to have, an additional 25% crit to everyone, and also an additional 20% damage to everyone, plus the healing that he provides, which helps with this specific setup, and I'll explain why in a bit. Poison, healing, and also a cleanse when you need it, when it's in an affinity setup right here. I'm not sure if this works exactly with Battle Khazar for Spirit, but I haven't tested it yet on Spirit, but it definitely works in Void, Magic, Force. So on Spirit, it might have issues because I do believe that there's a few turns where Seeker does not have protection against that debuff, so the cleanse comes in late, and so he may fall back in terms of turn meter. So let's go over and check their gear very quickly, and then I'll come back here and explain the setup. So the gear and how it is for everyone. So I do have my Battle Khazar here with a 247 speed, 75% crit, and some critical damage there. He's honestly, the damage that Battle Khazar can do, even with critical damage and 100% crit, is very minimal. You should try and get as much accuracy as possible, at least 220 for him to work. As you can see here, we're missing a ton of attack, and also we're missing a ton of accuracy. The thing is, this account was lacking a lot, and when I say a lot of glyphs, I'm talking about, guys, I just had no glyphs at all to work with. So this account has 10 glyphs overall, and this was what I had to work with. So it was very difficult for me to move around gear. I needed specific gear to get the exact speeds for this to work. So 247, the speeds are very similar to how the Bad Eater com works. So if you didn't know, 265, 247 on 2 champions, 249 on Seeker, and then it's 220, yeah, 249 on, on 1 champion, 247 on 2, 265, and then 220. That's how the 2-1 setup works, and that's how this works. But because we do not have the block debuffs, we need to also be sure of the health of some of the champions that we have, so that when the stun comes in, it goes to either of the DPS champions and not Seeker, not Cyrenaic, and of course not Warcaster. So they need to have more health than everybody else, more health than the DPS. We don't really mind about Battle Khazar. The stuns usually go on Draco for this run, which is fine, and it does work. And if it doesn't work for you guys, you need to play around a bit with everyone's health values, but also maybe try Immortal gear on Warcaster and Cyrenaic, and of course and Seeker, so that they can have some healing throughout the fight and be at more maximum health than Draco or the other DPS, which is Battle Khazar in this case. So 247 here, we do have him fully maxed out, and masteries, we do not have any masteries right here, but it does affect our damage in the end, and this is why we're going to do a key. It's going to have a ton of damage, but it's not going to be a 1 key. And one of the reasons is this, because we do not have War Master here, which definitely limits our damage by a lot, because Battle Khazar just does some poisons, and his damage at the end could have been way higher. Next up, guys, is of course Cernik. The way that we build Cernik is 247 speed again. The damage that we need is we have too much critical rate in this setup because we are using critical rate gloves. I've tried many different ways to get that 247. I couldn't get it with the critical damage gloves, so we went overboard with the critical rate and overboard plus the Bad Alcazar. It's a bad way to build him, but if with some optimization we can get better, then this is how it's going to be. So 247 is essential. The speed is essential. The max stat that Sir Nicholas needs is, of course, health to get his damage up. And that's definitely going to increase his damage overall. And you guys are actually going to be worried about this, the A2. This is the unfortunate about Cernik. There's other setups that work with him when he is fully booked, but for this one, for a 2-1, that's almost a 1 key. It's definitely there and works when you don't have it booked. Luckily, in this account, we actually had 2 Cerniks to work with, and one of them was booked, one of them was not booked. So I went with the option of using a setup that works. And guys, for Sir Nicholas's masteries, of course, it's the same kind of route as before. Warmaster and then Retribution. We could have gone for this one instead, Deterrence, but I didn't want to spend the gems. We're pretty low on gems there. So these are the masteries for Sir Nick. And as I said, yeah, definitely the definite thing that makes this team work is not having the A2 booked, which can be difficult because it's all RNG and might not be the case for you, unfortunately. But if you do have it unbooked, then this team can definitely work for you and works for all difficulties. Next up, guys, is Dracomorph, the 220 champion, 220 speed. We do have a lot of attack there, but the critical rate and critical damage that we have is something we could have worked with. We could have done a much lower critical rate, and of course some more critical damage. The attack is good for the kind of gear he has. He has a relentless set and a speed set, and this definitely makes his damage a lot in the end. With some more improvements, decreasing that critical rate and trying to get some more critical damage, assuming that your attack is at okay levels, then we can get definitely huge numbers with Dracomorph and even more damage. His skills are all maxed out, which doesn't really matter because we also have the relentless set, which does proc often throughout the runs. And then we went for Warmaster and the defense route here. We could have gone support tree instead, but the extra counterattack gives us some more damage. We have an overflow of poisons, to be honest, with him in the relentless set and Bad Alcazar. There was many cases that I had more poisons than defense down and weaken. So it's fine going the counter route and having him actually counter back and do an A1, because with this kind of gear, he does big numbers with that counter. Next up, of course, is Warcaster. Warcaster is needs definitely to be the fastest champion of them all. We are at 265 speed. He needs to be the fastest one. And then his critical rate, you have to find a way to get it to 100%. If you do have Bad Alcazar, then you only need to have this at 75%. The way that I built him is this way, because this is the only way that I could have get that 265 speed without any glyphs available. His A3 definitely needs to be booked. This is a requirement. This needs to be booked because this has to be at a 4-turn cooldown. And then masteries is the same thing as before, but we definitely want retribution. You could have gone this side around, but it doesn't really matter. This side works as well. Retribution with the 2 counterattack masteries, because in this kind of setup, the stun actually happens. You don't get resisted. So when somebody gets stunned, Warcaster can go in there and do a big hit with his attack. And then finally, guys, over at Seeker, we do have that 249 speed. We got a nice amount of attack here, but the critical rate was very low because, again, we just couldn't get to the speed that we needed without sacrificing some other stats. We do get some critical rate from Bad Alcazar, but he does some nice damage. He could have done way higher damage. Of course, we have the same build as before, Warmaster and the counter attack masteries. And these are the champions. These are the builds that we did, and you guys are now going to see the run that we did. We did over, well, I'm not going to say how much damage we did. Let's go over and see it, and you guys are actually going to see it with your own eyes in the end how much damage this setup does. We're going to go in there and I'm going to show you how the setup is. The setup is very easy, by the way. So we start up with the block damage from Warcaster. We don't do a boost here with Seeker. And then here we can just do an A1. I'd rather do an A1 here with Bad Alcazar. Let's do an A1 here with Sir Nick. I will apply the weaken, decrease defense and weaken with Draco there. We get some damage done there, but it's fine. Let's do an A1 here. So now we boost with Seeker. So getting ready to go in there. Let's do an A1 again with Bad Alcazar. Sir Nick is now actually going to use his A3. There it is. Let's do some poisons with Draco. Let's do an A1 here. We get some damage done on us. There's the debuffs on us. So this is why I was wondering if it's going to work on Spirit. It might not work on Spirit because these would affect our speed. So we need to have a cleanser to go immediately before anybody else. So here we cleanse. Here we're not going to do the A2. We're going to do an A1 with Sir Nick. Just do an A1 here with Warcaster. Let's just apply decrease defense and weaken. Let's do the Seeker A2. We'll do an A1. Do an A2 here. And here is where we do the block damage. And basically from here on, it's just auto. You see the stun goes on to Draco. And this is how the run is going to go from now on. We shouldn't have any issues in terms of who stuns what. It should go always on Draco. He is, of course, just neutral affinity here. He's magic versus magic. On Spirit, we might have some issues because of the boss stunning somebody else. But if we're running Bad Alcazar, the stun is going to be always going on that Bad Alcazar. So we should be fine with that. And there shouldn't be any issues with the stuns going on Warcaster or Scenic, which are actually, you know, void affinity. We might have some issues with Seeker, but I'll need to check his health to see how high it is. But we shouldn't really have any issues against Force, you know, against Draco and There's no issues in anybody getting any damage. They would have died for sure if the Unkillable buff was not on them, or the block damage buff failed, or the stun went on somebody who it shouldn't have gone on. So it definitely works. We even get some resist here. As you can see, the champions are not fully optimized in terms of accuracy, as I said, because of mostly the glyphs situation in the account, but definitely a solid attempt here. Look at this, guys. 50, I'm gonna say 52 million damage in this run. And here, yeah, we actually get Dracomorph not applying his defense down on weekend, which might affect our damage in the end. Cernek with 5, Warcaster with 6, and Seeker with 7. So if Warcaster, Seeker have some better gear, and of course Cernek also with some improvements to his gear, then maybe the damage can go up. If we can get another 2 or 3 million out of each of these guys, we'll get closer to the one key team. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you're ever interested in account takeover, then definitely send me a message over on Discord. I build these teams, this kind of teams, all the time. So definitely go over on Discord, find me, message me, and we'll discuss on what you want to improve on your account and where. I do clan boss, arena, dungeons. I do so many spider takeovers. I do faction wars, doom tower. So there's so many areas that people get stuck, and they might require the help of somebody who might know the way around, gearing up the champions and getting there to the solution. Thank you guys for watching this video. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It definitely helps the channel. Leave a like down below. Join my Discord also for more constant communication, for any questions you might have. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!